Yo guys, so what is going on? Welcome back to another video now. A few more pre-season games to go until Millwall is finally here. But like I say, we've got another 2 pre-season games to go. Tomorrow night we have to go to the Crown Oil Arena, which is the home of Rochdale A.F.C. Then Friday night we take up, people call it local rival, local derby, whatever people want to call it. We have to play Sunderland on Friday night, which will be absolutely excellent. I can't wait for that game. I'm excited. But first of all, this is the game that stands in front of us. It's Rochdale A.F.C. versus Middlesbrough. Like I say, in terms of the game, I think it's going to be a tough one. I don't think this one's going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be any easier than when we what Accrington Stanley was. Obviously, as we all know, Accrington Stanley obviously beat us 4-3. A lot of goals in that game. As a fan who went to it, as a supporter, I've got to be honest with you, I was impressed by the Borough that day. I know we got back to 3-3, but, realistically, you would be expecting Borough to beat the likes of Accrington Stanley of League One. But as I've said before, did nothing away from Accrington Stanley. I thought they were absolutely excellent that day. Carried themselves very, very well. Overall, they did get a well-deserved victory. Now, Tuesday night, you're hoping the Borough can bounce back. You're hoping the Borough can get the victory. I know people say the results aren't important. How I see it now is that we're 2 games away from, obviously 2 games away from Millwall, start the season. And I fear that if we get beat tomorrow night, obviously tomorrow night against Rochdale, which could happen, I'm not saying that Borough are going to go out there and absolutely slap them. I'm saying, it's a possibility that Rochdale could beat us, possibility that Borough could beat them. Of course, we actually Borough beat Rochdale, but I'm saying in terms of the game tomorrow, if Rochdale are to beat us tomorrow, and we go into Sunderland, and say if Sunderland beat us, then it means that we're going to Millwall, and for me, I think the confidence won't all be there. Of course, everyone will be fired up for Millwall, obviously Millwall away first game of the season, but how I see it is, if we lose, so say if Borough lose the next 2 games, being Rochdale and Sunderland, I doubt there'll be much confidence in them players, or much confidence, should I say, in them players going to Millwall than what there would be if Borough were to go and beat Rochdale tonight, or I should say beat Rochdale tomorrow and beat Sunderland on Friday. I think if Borough can aim for 2 wins against Rochdale and Sunderland, then that's it. Then obviously into Millwall, everyone's confident. Morale's good in the camp. Everyone's got a bit of a boost. Everyone's got a bit of a spring in their step. Whereas if we lose tomorrow night, going to Sunderland and say, I think even if we draw that game against Sunderland, will the confidence be there? Who knows? Expectedly, you expect Borough to hopefully come out with a victory tomorrow night against Rochdale. But a good friend of mine is a Rochdale supporter, so having a good friend that supports Rochdale, you kind of hear quite a lot about them. And I do know a fair bit about Rochdale in terms of the way they play, the players have got in their team. In terms of the weaknesses, the strongness in their team as well. So, I know quite a bit on Rochdale, but of course I'm not Tony Pulis. So I can't go and tell them all this information. I can't go and tell the players this. I just know that even though Rochdale finished 20th last season inside of League One, and I think, season before, I'm pretty sure they finished just outside the playoffs, These are a very, very good footballing side. Obviously in the cup game last season as well, they actually drew to Tottenham at home, took them back to Wembley. I think it finished 5-2, but I think it was 1-1 or 2-1 at one point. So, they aren't a bad team. They do have a never say die attitude as well. So, it's going to be tough, even at the pre-season friendly. I believe these are beat us last year as well, 2-0. They actually beat us at the Crown Oil Arena, which is obviously their home stadium. This one's going to be tough. This one won't be easy, and it's almost like another great test for the Borough players. It's another good run out. It's almost like another good game for fitness. But in terms of the result now, this is what I want to see. I do want to start seeing results in these last 2 pre-season games, purely for confidence. Kind of see what players are going to shine leading up to a Millwall game. See what players actually want to try and battle to try and get in their place. So obviously if I have a Millwall game, because of course every single player, obviously that does play for Middlesbrough, wants to be in that team against Millwall. That just makes sense. But it'd be interesting to see which player gives 100% now leading into that game to try and secure their place in that team. So in front of me here, I've got some notes written down as always on the opposition. I can tell you right now, the manager is Keith Hill. The stadium, as I've already said, is the Crown Oil Arena, and it actually has a capacity of 10,000, or should I say just over 10,000. So it isn't really a bad stadium. A bit like Bournemouth. And Bournemouth was about 11 or 12,000. So it's almost like a mini Bournemouth away. Founded back in 1907. Now Rochdale actually unbeaten in pre-season, a bit like Accrington Stanley. Where Accrington Stanley, I think they were on a 2-game win streak until they played Borough, and then of course they beat us, and now they're going to a 3-win streak. Rochdale actually unbeaten in obviously in 3 games. The first game they played was Stalybridge Celtic, and they beat them 3-0. Then they played Stockport County and beat them 1-0. And then their latest game was a draw with Hull City of the Championship. They actually drew them 0-0, and that was actually at the Crown Oil Arena, which is obviously Rochdale. So you know they have already played the Championship side before they played Middlesbrough. They know a bit on Hull City, you know, after getting a pretty good draw with them. You know, and I'm sure they've done homework on BORO, and it's kind of like these League One teams. You know what I mean? These do want to beat you. Do you know what I mean? I think this is a bit more of a friendly to them because Accrington and Stanley, you know, you can see that they genuinely wanted to beat Middlesbrough. Do you know what I mean? This wasn't a friendly to them. You know what I mean? These genuinely want to win to try and get more confidence. Them getting a draw with Hull City give them confidence. Now, I'm sure they want to go on and obviously beat Middlesbrough to try and just get a little bit of confidence going into the start of the season. Because I trust you. Like I say, man, League One is no easier than what the Championship is. You know, both very hard divisions to get out of. And you know, Rochdale, like I say, man, watch out for them next season. You know, they are a very good team, and you know they got some good strikers there. Calvin Andrews. They got Ian Henderson as well, so you know Rochdale have a decent few strikers in their team, and overall a pretty good team. You know, Delaney at the back as well. They are a pretty well run team, so they are a threat to Middlesbrough. Of course, they still play League One and obviously finished 20th last season. But even though they finished 20th last season, don't let that fool you, man. I know this is only pre-season friendly, but like I say, you know what I mean. I think it's time to see performances. You know what I mean, I think it's time to start seeing some results. I know it's pre-season, but you know we're 2 games away from obviously, let's have it right, our biggest game of the season, which is obviously our first game of the season, which is Millwall. Nobody wants to lose that game, you know, home or away. You want to be able to go into that game and hopefully get all 3 points, you know what I mean, kick off our season right. So I think it's really important now that, you know what I mean, that we do start seeing performances from these players. You know, the fitness should be there. Do you know what I mean? We're what, like maybe it's just like a week and a bit away from Millwall. You know what I mean? The fitness level should be there in the boys. And now it's all about seeing the performances. I mean, it's about, you know, for me, it's all about seeing. You know, it's all about seeing the players that genuinely are trying to get into that first team come into the Millwall game. I think it'd be interesting to see who plays tomorrow, who starts, and whoever comes on as a substitute, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Be breaking your neck to try and get into that team against Millwall. In terms of Middlesbrough, our pre-season, it hasn't been a bad pre-season, you would say. You know, it's been okay. Obviously, Sturm Graz, we lost to them. We did beat Spennymoor, beat SV Sandhausen. We lost to Augsburg, and of course, we obviously lost to Accrington and Stanley. But in terms of the pre-season, really, for inside the BORO side, you wouldn't say it's been terrible. You know, you would just say it's been okay. You know, it's been an okay pre-season. You know, go off the Accrington and Stanley game. There's you know, I mean, from watching that game, yes, okay, there was some positives, but you know what I mean, there's a lot of things that we can put right. And I believe that we can put these right against Rochdale, just to make sure that they don't come up with again. You know what I mean, a few niggles here and there. You know, the main thing for me is the back line stay just almost to try and stay in position, because I've seen at times Ryan Shotton, he was drifting more towards the middle of the pitch, and every single time the ball went over, he was out of position. I think it's really important now that our back line try and just obviously try and stay tight to their wingers, and obviously of the opposition, because I think, you know, the way we played on Saturday, if we play that against anyone in the Championship, they can tear us apart. Be completely honest with you, man, they can tear us apart. So I think it's important now that we are a little bit strict, and I think it is important that we do put them, obviously, you know, put them almost when I can speak, put them mistakes to bed, nice and early, man. Just obviously nice and early before the start of the season. In terms of the lineup, I'm about to say, man, there's a few changes to obviously what the lineup was. Of course, Rudiger Stead started. It looks like he's injured now for a long time, to be fair. You know what I mean? After I seen him after the game, he didn't look very happy. Of course, he was talking to the fans, but in his voice and everything else, you could see he was gutted that he was now injured again. So in terms of my team, Darryl Randolph goes in goal. The back four stays the same as obviously the one that started on Saturday, which is Ryan Shotton on a right back, where I'm praying he has a good game, because on Saturday I didn't raise performance much. I'm hoping Ryan Shotton has a good game. Aidan Flint, Ben Gibson in the middle, and on the left-hand side, George Friend. Now I say, man, them full backs there, Ryan Shotton, George Friend, they have to do more for me. I know it's only pre-season, but you know what I mean, as a fan, I want to start seeing our full backs actually do decent. I actually want to see a half decent performance from these boys now. I know I picked up George Friend after the Augsburg game, went to Accrington Stanley, and he was a bit shaky, I thought. So it's important now that we start seeing, you know what I mean, top performances throughout the whole team. The three, just there, obviously George should have put the three in the midfield. On the right, if he's still here by tomorrow, which he might be, might not be, is Adama Traore. It looks like he's going to Wolves. It's a real shame if he does go, but you know what I mean, what can we do? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Obviously, Wolves are coming in. They can offer Premier League football. We can't at this given moment. He might want that, so what can we do? Next to them, Paddy McNair. And on the left, it's going to be Stuart Downing. In front of them, Johnny Howson. And the two up top, Patrick Bamford and Ashley Fletcher, the two that I cannot stress enough that I think should be our strikers next season. Them two strikers alone. I might even have to make a separate video on why I think them two strikers should be our main strikers next season. I just think they offer pace, ability, flair. You know what I mean? Eye for goal. They have it. For me, you know, they are the two strikers we've got to go with next season. This has been the Rochdale versus Middlesbrough preview. Obviously, the Rochdale versus Middlesbrough preview. If you guys have enjoyed this video, remember, smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new around here. Comment and share as always. And I will see you guys again tomorrow for yet another video. Up the butter!